welcome back to another episode of TJU on Air. And today I have no guest, not one, nobody. I'm all alone, all by myself. But considering that my episode 0, where I was alone answering your questions, did so well, I figured I would do another one. And I did a post on Facebook recently asking everybody what they would ask me if they were in the chair over there, the empty one, the empty chair. And so I have a list of questions here that I'm going to go over and answer. These are some of my favorite ones and things that I think are very interesting. And every person that left a comment there on Facebook is going to get a little shout out here. So thank you guys so much for responding to my post. And thank you guys very much for tuning in and subscribing to this channel or following along wherever you are. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. I can't say that enough, honestly. I could do that the entire episode. I really do appreciate you. So, enough of that. Let's move on to the episode here. Answering some questions. Question number 1, which is actually a two-parter. Good question from Rochelle Armstrong. Who was the most memorable person you ever met? Honestly, the most memorable person I ever met, I think the most memorable in the shortest amount of time was probably Cadillac Kenny when I met him at the food bank. There's just something about that guy. Kenny is really a special person. I really need to find him again because I had such a great time hanging out with him, and I would love to do more. Maybe make his make his dreams come true. Do something really fun, or just spend the day with him and get to know him better. That would be amazing. If you haven't seen Cadillac Kenny's video, there's a video on my YouTube, a long video, where I take multiple families out shopping from the food bank, and Kenny was one of the people that I met in that video. And he also recommended that I try A1 mixed with sour cream on my steaks, and I tried it in the video, and I got to say that, well, I don't want to spoil it. If you guys want to know what it tastes like and if you should try it, you should go check out that video. Super cool. All right. What was the most unforgettable, saddest, happiest, most inspiring stories you have encountered? I think honestly, and there's a little bit of everything in it. It's unforgettable, it's sad, and it's happy. And that was the story of James and Angie. Because James was stranded here in Reno trying to get to his, um, high school sweetheart, the love of his life. And he was stuck and he couldn't get there. No matter what he did, no matter how hard he worked, no matter how much he saved, he kept hitting a roadblock. And until I finally hopped in the car with him and traveled 1,900 miles across country with someone that I barely knew and paid for the entire trip, it would have never happened. And yet today they are married. They are doing very, very well. They are very happy, and we check in often. It's so cool to have an extended family on in a different part of the country that I can go visit at any time. They literally have a guest bedroom ready for me whenever I would like to go there. I just wish I could go more. But that's by far one of the most unforgettable stories and encounters that I've ever had. I can't say enough about that. That was such an amazing video. Another one of those ones. A lot of these I'm going to refer to videos on my YouTube page if you have not checked out the longer videos on my YouTube. Please take a second to go and do exactly that, because there's some really good ones on there. Sometimes I don't get the best thumbnail or title, but it doesn't make the story or the video any worse. It just doesn't get as many people to watch it. So I highly recommend checking out that one. It's got a long title. Something about traveling 1,900 miles with a man that I just met living in his car. Oh, and we got pulled over in the state of Iowa or something, and it was crazy. It's a crazy story. Also, a whole podcast episode on this channel of their entire story. Check it out. Talara Larson How do you keep healthy boundaries with those that you help? That's a tough one. There really isn't an exact boundary line or an easy answer for that question. I'm always asking myself, did I go too far? Should I have drawn a line sooner? Or should I have gone further? I don't know. It's so hard. I try to do the best I can. Um, and sometimes I go way too far and I get too involved. And what I mean by that is some people aren't ready. And there's no amount of help or money that is going to change their situation without them doing more on their own. And it's hard to find out where to draw the line. And I just do the best I can. Teresa Sadler. I hope I said that right. What is one thing you want us to know about you? Well, I got a little dog that I've had for over 15 years now. I love my little guy so much, and he totally changed my life. I don't know if I ever mentioned it here before, but there was a time where I don't want to get into a ton of details because some of it's pretty dark, but I was, I myself was using methamphetamines, and there was a room that was just completely full of smoke from using that, and he was sitting on the couch next to me when he was a very little puppy, and up until that point, I was only really like, I thought I was only hurting myself. I didn't think what I was doing was hurting anyone else. I was young. I was in my early 20s, and just thought I was having a good time and experimenting and trying whatever was out there. But I had had him now for a while. I got him when he was 14 weeks. And this day, I'll never forget because when I saw him down there sitting next to me, I went to pet him. I felt his chest. He rolled over to get pets, as he always does. And I felt his heart beating so fast. It was like it was going to jump out of his chest. And that was the moment that I knew this was bigger than just me. I got a little guy that is counting on me right now, and he will go anywhere I go and do anything I do. He is just happy to be next to me no matter what. So it's up to me to make sure I lead him to good places, places that aren't going to harm him, places where he can count on me, and I have his best interest at heart. And that was when I decided that I was going to stop. And I went into my bedroom and I slept for days and changed my life. I did a lot of things after that to completely change the trajectory and eventually lead to where I am today. A lot of hard decisions, things that I had to walk away from, and people that I had to stop talking to, people that I had some of the best times of my life with. However, they were doing things that I didn't want to do anymore. So that was a tough one, and that's something I would like everybody to know. I think that's important. Also, I love electronic music. Now, I don't think a lot of people know that. I listen to all types of music, even a lot of the music that I put in my videos. I like piano a lot. Can't play it, but I love. Uh, I love pianists. I love classical. I love electronic music. I like bluegrass. I, I like a lot of different types of music. And my all-time favorite band is Led Zeppelin. Favorite album? Led Zeppelin 3. But my favorite song would probably be The Ocean. There we go. That's some stuff. uh, how do you handle the emotional side of the work you do? That's a tough one, and it's not as easy as some people may think. It's not always rainbows and unicorns. This gets heavy. You go into areas and you see people living in ways that you would hope no one would ever have to. And you have to stay happy. You have to stay positive. You have to be the light in their darkness. So I do what I can to stay positive and be there for people and remind them that there's other things out there and people still care about them. the impact that I make and the reactions I get and the appreciation that people show me is what keeps me going. It's tough because there's a lot of, I get more hate on the internet than I do out there on the streets. And I don't get a lot of hate anywhere, but some of those negative comments are so loud that they just resonate. And I've had to practice and get better and better about shutting them out and forgetting about it. And also remembering that they still help me. If you leave a negative comment and a lot of people are arguing in there, I'm getting more engagement and I'm getting more views, which enable me to help more people and keep doing what I do. So even if you do leave some negative feedback, I appreciate you. But that makes it tough. What do I do for self-care? Um, One thing I love to do for self-care is I have a dirt bike. I like to ride motorcycles. I've gotten a lot safer about how I do it. I don't push myself very hard, but I enjoy getting out there and just exploring and trying to see things and beautiful views and creeks and rivers and valleys and things that you wouldn't see unless you were, on something that would get to those areas and those places. So I really enjoy doing that. That's a lot of fun. And who inspires me? Well, the people that inspire me are a lot of the people you see in my videos that have done whatever it takes to change their lives. People that have been through a lot and still somehow made it to success. The same people that I love having on this show. Those are the people that truly inspire me. They keep me going. Taylor Sharon. By the way, all of those questions were all from one person, from Teresa Sadler. So, next one. Taylor Sharon. Do you have a view on excessive wealth? Example would be people who are worth billions of dollars. Well, yeah, kinda. I don't know. I think what a lot of people want to hear me say is that they could do whatever it takes to end homelessness and not even notice it in their wallet. But it doesn't work that way. I've said it many times. You can only buy people time. If they don't change the way they're doing things, uh, no amount of money is going to fix it all. So, does it bother me that people are billionaires and others aren't? No. Uh, do I think they could do more to help more people? Maybe. But I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. If you've done whatever you can to be successful in your life, good for you. If you choose to help more people with the money you've made, awesome. That's great. If I made more money, I would help more people. I would build a bigger team where I could do more and just make a bigger impact and help more people and hopefully guide people and encourage them to make that change that they might want to make that could completely change their life. That's what I would like to do. Tyler Allen says, What's the craziest, scariest encounter you've ever had? I don't know. It's a hard one. Because I've had some scary ones where I'm by myself and I'm alone in areas that I don't know with around people that I don't know and I don't know their intention and I just have faith and I trust the process and I go along with it. I end up making really great friends and I've never actually had an encounter that was truly, truly dangerous. I'm sure that I will at some point. I'm not saying that it'll never happen. But it hasn't really yet. The scariest encounter I ever had, which honestly wasn't that scary, um, there was a man I was looking for who ended up passing away, and there's kind of allegations or a story there. After all the homework we did looking for him, uh, we came to find out that he most likely had his life taken from him over a kitten. This kitten was probably worth $100 ish. And someone found that, his life was worth less than that 100. And they fought him and took his life over a kitten. And while I was looking for him, I went to an encampment and I don't know for sure, but they seem to have either some knowledge or something to do with someone that maybe had something to do with that. I don't have a lot of information, but I do know that at some point, people in that camp had something to do with taking things from this man. So when I was asking where he was or if they knew anything about him, um, they wanted nothing to do with me. They wanted me out of there. And one woman in that camp came up to me and very angrily, she stared at me in the face and she had nothing to say, but she was trembling. She was angry. She looked like she was ready to do something. And I didn't know what she would do. And she grabbed the camera that I have mounted on my chest and she ripped it off and threw it in a bush. And then sped off and yelled something at me. Something. But never came back. I was able to pick up the camera. It was fine. And that's all that happened. So that's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I never put a video out about that because I don't know what she was going through. I don't have all the information. I can't say that I don't know who did what or what really happened. But what I told you is all I know. So I have to make the assumption that there was something about the question I asked as to where he was sparked something. So craziest, scariest encounter I've ever had. Not that bad, I don't think. Marissa and DeGrotto, what made you decide to take on this amazing thing you do? That, eh, so I myself kind of got in a tight spot and I lost a job that I had moved to this city for. Um, and at that moment in time, I was just worried that if I didn't make the right decisions, I might have to go back and live with my parents, go back to a place I did not want to go back to with my tail in between my legs and completely give up on everything that I'd worked so hard for. And I saw somebody standing on the corner holding a sign. And I looked at him and I thought, man, if I'm not careful, I could be that guy. And then I went, whoa, wait a minute. That guy could have a story just like mine. But things fell apart. He didn't have support. He didn't have the things I have, or it all was taken from him. I don't know. But I wonder if other people have had this same thought, this same question. And I wonder if answering that for people would be something of interest, something that people would want to see or hear. Huh. And I went on and I researched other channels and I saw that there were some channels doing things similar. One in particular was Invisible People, interviewing homeless people. And Mark, like the founder of that channel, actually, he was homeless at one point in his life. So he was good at interviewing people and getting their stories. And I thought that would be something great to do. But I, gave it a lot of time and I got back on my feet and I got a good job and I saved up money and met the love of my life and, found a home. Like I made myself home here in this city and never left. And I don't think I ever will. So eventually I started my channel. I thought that would be a great idea, but I wanted to do something where I helped people and not just interviewed them, because it just felt right. My mom always called me Mr. Fix It. I like to fix things. You can't tell me a problem without me trying to come up with some way to help or fix it or do something about it. It's just my nature. It's who I am. And that's what shines in my channel. So that was kind of the inspiration. What was the first day helping people like? Well, that was it was funny because I was doing the Uber Eats part. I went out, I did Uber Eats to make the money so I could go and help somebody. That was easy. Filming it was a little weird. I wasn't used to that because I'd done Uber Eats on the side many times. So that wasn't anything new to me. The new part was after I made the money, which was way less than I thought it was going to be. I think I took home like $17 that day. Whew, man, after like 3 hours of work, it was bad. It was bad. Food delivery is not a good way to make money for a living. It's supplemental income, something on the side. I'm not going to go there right now. But anyway, it was tough. It was scary. I didn't know what to do, and I started my channel, and I told myself, like, I just want my channel to be Knate. I don't want to have any other name on it. I just want my name. That's it. That's all I am. I'm no more than that. I don't want to make myself out to be anything that I'm not. Um, and I was like, that's all I want. I want my channel to be just Knate. And then I was, oh, there you go. Let's see if that's available. Cool. It was. It's like, that's funny. I bet you people are going to say that I'm more than I am, or call me things, and it'll relate. It'll, I'm just Knate, no more, no less. That's all I am. And so I went to help this man, and I talked with him for almost an hour, and it was really, really great. I had a great conversation. Um, and I was able to buy him some pizza and listen to his story, which, by the way, a lot of it didn't really make sense to me, but he was very appreciative to have somebody that was listening, and I caught that, and it made me feel really good about it. But when I was walking away to get him his pizza, he stopped me. He grabbed me on the arm and he said, "Are you God?" And I stopped for a second and I said, "No, I'm just Knate." And something at that moment in time really confirmed for me that I was not only doing the right thing, but I was where I was meant to be. And the channel name just made even more sense. So it was really cool. That was, in a nutshell, that was what the first day was like. I knew that it would work. I knew that I was doing the right thing. And I was worried that it wouldn't, but I just had faith in the process and that, it felt right. Whitney Kibler. How do you take care of yourself after helping someone else? Um, I don't know. That's kind of a tough question. I don't know how to answer that because, like, I just keep going. um, I nowadays I try to make sure I eat well. I've been exercising a little bit more. I've been kind of concerned with my own health a little more than I was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was go, 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 go. How much can I do? How much can I help? I put off my own family. I put off seeing my own daughter sometimes. I didn't spend hardly any time with my fiance, and I almost missed the window to spend time with my dad before he left, before his time was over here on Earth. And I'm really glad that I caught that in time to slow down just a little bit, just a little, to take more time with my own family and loved ones. But I did it long enough to get my channel to where it is so that I could keep making videos and it be sustainable. Is it ever perfect? No. I truly believe that life is like a seesaw. You know, the key is to balance it so neither side is ever touching the ground. But it's never going to be a perfect balance. It's always going to teeter totter from one side to the other. Um, and that's kind of the key, is finding out what works for you to stay in balance. You're always learning and always adjusting. What's something you do just for you? Well, I kind of mentioned that earlier. I don't do it as much as I would like, but that's fun. And then spending time with my daughter and taking her fun places and doing fun things. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being able to do that. Okay, I think this name might be backwards just because of the account. So it says Jacob Alexander, but I think it's Jacob Alexander. Either way, he says, "What's up, Nate? I'm homeless and selling sodas Uh, the law tried to shut me down for no permit license to sell. What would you do? So that's a tough one, and I don't really have an answer for that. But I definitely commend you for your tenacity to continue trying and not giving up and finding a way to do anything, even in your situation, to get by and having a hustle, man. Definitely commend having the hustle. Um, I'm trying to build something with my brand where everyone could become an affiliate and make a commission no matter where you sleep, no matter where you stay, no matter what you do. You could make a couple bucks helping me help more people, and we're all helping each other at the same time. Big, big goal of mine. I can't employ everybody out there. However, with an affiliate program, if anyone can sign up, we could all help more people and make a living doing it. And I hope that I could help people get out of a tough spot or prevent them from ever even being there with something like that. So I am working on it, and it takes a lot more time and effort than I would like it to. Because when it comes to that stuff, I'm figuring it out all on my own and learning it as I go. Um, Allison Clark, have you ever considered going out of the country and helping other people? Yes and no. I mean, there's so many people in the United States that need help, and it seems to only be getting worse everywhere I go. I can't even, I could go to one big city and spend an entire year there. So it's hard to imagine going to other countries when I can't really mentally get past our own states and our own country here. But I might do it soon. I might. You never know. We'll see what happens. CJ Williams, what is the hardest decision you've had to make when helping someone? When to stop? When to stop? That is by far the hardest decision. My heart wants to keep going no matter what. But at some point, as I mentioned earlier, you're only buying someone time. It's a two-way street. You can't, it's the old saying, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Um, it's you have to stop when somebody's not ready, and you have to find somebody else that is. And knowing when to do that or setting that boundary is very, very hard. And, just like I mentioned with the seesaw thing, I'm always balancing it out. And sometimes I tip one side more than I should the other. But I learn and I constantly get better and try to improve. But that is a hard decision to make every time. Justice Hilscher. Do you partner with any addictions or mental health organizations to help people who may need treatment? And do you carry Narcans on you for emergencies? I do. I've never had to actually Narcan anyone, and I would like to put Narcan in our backpacks. Uh, but it doesn't do well in the heat, and it can actually go bad. And I tend to leave the backpacks in. I load up my car for about a week at a time until I run out, reload it again. Um, so it's tough depending on the weather to keep them in there. I try to keep some in the car with me and give them out as needed, but it's hard. It's hard to do that right. Um, and do I partner with any other organizations? Yeah, depending on the area I'm in, I try to refer people to other organizations that could help them with whatever their situation is. And I usually keep a lot of that off camera because it involves personal information and things related to what people are experiencing when it comes to addiction or mental health or, things along those lines. But I try to direct everyone to something that could help them and has more resources than I do myself. Andrea Wright, what is the strangest request you've ever gotten from a client? I don't like calling them clients because I'm not selling them anything. But strangest request, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm hard to say. I like the strange requests though. They are a challenge, and I like a challenge. Uh, I've still been waiting for kind of like that really fancy meal that somebody wants, that I have to go find. That would be awesome. I think the craziest meal, and it's not that crazy, but it was chicken Alfredo, and I went to probably the nicest Italian restaurant here in town, and I've never been able to try myself, and got a plate that was almost $50. Uh, I wanted that person to really enjoy their dinner. That was great. Michelle McLean. How do we help more people, but in a way that makes them more accountable for their own lives and future? Hmm. It's kind of the give and take. You give people a task or something to do for themselves, and if they accomplish it and stick with it, then a little bit more, and so on, until it gets to a point where people are familiar with responsibilities and accountability, and they're used to dealing with that. And then, because if you're if you're a responsible adult that pays all your own bills and has your own place and your own things and you have good credit and finances and so on, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. And it's an essential skill that not a lot of us know how to do. And a lot of people who haven't had to do it for a very long time, if ever, really struggle with that. So I think more knowledge around that would be a huge help. And there are agencies that are trying to teach more about accounting and finance and just personal finances. If you had $1 million to change multiple lives, how how would I use it? Well, that's I would love to find families or single parents or elderly that are struggling and make sure that they never have to struggle again. However that looks, that's what I would like to do. There's too many elderly out there on a fixed income or disabled in this country that just don't get enough to get by and end up living on the streets. And they really have no other way out other than subsidies or government programs. And if those programs dry up or some point for some reason they're disqualified and the funding's pulled, they're back on the streets. I don't like that they have to count on something that can be taken away so easily, just because a different law or rule or something comes into place and they lose it, and now they're right back where they started. That bugs the hell out of me. It really does. I wish I could change that situation. So if I had $1 million, that's one thing that I would really work on. Jenny Montoya. What's some advice you'd give for someone wanting to do what you do? I've always said I want to be like Nate. I do and would love some tips on getting started. All right. I'd say this all the time. So I'm going to keep doing it. um, talk to people, get better at listening and asking questions. And just find people in your area that you feel safe around that are struggling with whatever, homelessness or just anything. Talk to random strangers, engage with them, listen to them, and just have some conversations. That is the best place to start. If you want to make videos, um, I definitely don't recommend shoving a phone in people's faces. uh, don't worry about it. Me, myself, I started by just putting a GoPro on my chest. And I even went as far as to cover up the GoPro strap and put a button up shirt on because I just wanted to feel natural. The whole point of this was just to share the interactions that are natural that I would have with anyone when I have a conversation, and do it with or without a camera, and put that organic encounter on the internet and share it with the world and see what happens. So that's where I would say is if you want to do the camera thing, just keep it real, keep it organic, keep it natural, and be upfront about your intentions and what you're trying to do. And if people don't want anything to do with that, respect that. My biggest piece of advice to anyone out there, including other creators or other people that do this, is you will always have an opportunity to go viral, but do not do it at someone else's expense. I'm very critical on that. I've seen other influencers do that, and I have that option all the time, and I don't take it. I don't want to do things that way. Um, you don't know what people are going through, and even if you don't agree with what they say or do, it's up to you to respect that. And I think that's important. So keep that in mind, but start with a conversation and something small. A pair of socks, a dollar burger. Well, we don't really have those anymore, but the value menu burger, whatever it is, start small and ask people what they like, and try to get them that work. You never know what allergies they have or preferences. Respect that, and just see what you can do. Yeah, those are my tips. Shayna, how do you decide to get them a room or not? I know if they have an ID, and some you help them get an ID. So that's really the biggest thing is if they have an ID, then I can get them a room. If they're not banned at any of the places I go to get them a room, or if I'm not, because I'm actually banned at some places, I know, crazy, right? I'm banned. Then I do it. But it's also not as easy as it may look, depending on what city I'm in and what's going on, and if I'm gonna be there to pick up the deposit if they want cash, and there's a lot of other elements. So as long as, you know, everything lines up and it works out, then we do it. If there's any reasoning why we can't, they might have a dog and there might not be any place that allows dogs. They might have a weird pet like a duck or a parrot or I don't know, and nobody will rent to them, and that makes it really hard. If it's a large family, if they have a whole bunch of stuff, 5 shopping carts full of things that they don't want to leave behind, can't get them a room. If they're scared to leave their camp unattended, can't get them a room. There's a lot of reasons, and I don't always share every little one of them. Uh, but when it all works out, that's when you guys see me get a room. Alvaro Guerrera. Have I ever been harmed, robbed, or hurt? Not yet. Not yet. I say yet. I say could happen. I say just try to be careful. But you never know. And that's why I always say if you're going to go help people or you're going to talk to people or whatever you're going to do, if you don't feel safe, do not do it. Do not do it. Try to make sure that you always feel safe and you feel okay about what you're doing. Catherine Lawrence. Have you reached out to corporate sponsors about your good work? So recently I've partnered with an agency to help me get more sponsorships. And it's because I need more ways to fund what I do. Um, I don't get donations like I used to, and I don't want to ask for more. I really want this thing just to work itself out. I want it to pay for itself. That would be ideal. So if sponsorships and more ad revenue and all that can do it, then great. So we're starting to reach out for more sponsorships. If you are somebody that would like to sponsor the channel for anything, send me an email. Reach out. Has anyone ever burned you when you did get them a hotel room by trashing it? Yep, it's happened, and that's why I'm banned at certain places. Got to be careful. You never know, and that's why if they don't have an ID, I don't get them a room. I want to put it all in their name. I don't want anything attached to me if possible. It doesn't always work that way. Hotels most of the time want me on the hook for something. CJ Williams, what is the hardest decision you've had to make when helping someone? And I answered that earlier, and it's when to stop. It's when I can't give them the thing that they really need or they really want because there's a hurdle there or something that's holding it back. And a lot of times they're doing it themselves, and I can't change that. Sometimes you want to reach out, grab someone, and shake them, and just go, just stop. We can do this. Why? But you can't, and you have to respect that. You gotta be able to walk away and know it just isn't gonna happen today. It's hard. Jamie Davies. If you could change one public misconception about homelessness, what would it be? I think it would just be that we're all humans and it doesn't matter what you look like. You don't know where someone came from or where they might end up being. I think that's important. I don't look it doesn't matter to me where you are today or where you were at yesterday. I see you for who you are and how our interaction is, and that's I don't judge, but that's how I figure out what I can talk to you about, or if you seem like a good person and I get that vibe, that's fine. That's all I need, you know. Um, so I think I would like it if everybody could do that with people. And at the same time, if someone's having a bad day, you know, don't write them off. Just give them the benefit of doubt and try again another day. Or maybe even ask, if you feel comfortable, why the long face? Why don't you feel what's going on with you? Why don't you feel good today? Why aren't you happy? What's happening? You might be able to turn their day around. But again, if you don't feel safe, get the heck out. Can't stress that enough. What has been the most unexpected lesson you've learned from someone experiencing homelessness? Mm, I think it's just, I never expected people to treat homeless people so badly because I've never done it. So I couldn't imagine it. I didn't know how bad it can get sometimes. But people can be really mean, and I wish that would stop. There's no reason. It's like, throwing things at somebody who's homeless or calling them names. And really, the names, I mean, they hurt, but it's nothing compared to giving somebody an empty box of pizza when they're starving and haven't eaten in days, and their hopes go through the roof, and they think everything's gonna be great right now. I just got a pizza, and they open it and it's empty. Um, there's even people have poisoned food or put things in it to make people sick, and oh gosh, it gives me the chills. It's disgusting. I hate it. And I never thought that was as bad as it really is. So yeah, yeah, that bothers me. That's a lesson I've learned that I hope you guys get from this too. But I think if you're listening to this, you're definitely not one of those people. And if you ever hear of someone doing something like that, you know, don't get angry. Don't yell at them. Don't treat them um, in a way in which you can't get through to them. Try to listen and give some insight as to why that might not be the right thing to do. What was the moment or experience that inspired you to start helping the homeless and documenting it on YouTube? Well, I answered that earlier, but I am going to refer to episode 0 on this exact channel that goes into a lot of depth as to why I started, how I started, why I keep doing it, how I do it, and even more. So, if you want to hear more, check out episode 0. And that is all the questions that I got from my Facebook post. If you guys have any questions and you think I should do another episode like this, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love these are fun. This is really cool. If you think this sucked and I shouldn't do any more video or episodes like this, drop a comment below and let me know. Either way, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.